So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. iPhone 15 versus iPhone XR speed test after 5 years. Let's begin with a boot up in 3, 2, go, and see which one could get there first. Now, I've been pre-testing these, and I gotta tell you, the XR has been quite impressive considering its age. This is probably the last year of updates for iPhone XR, and it's been performing quite well. Now, both of these are running the latest iOS 17.2, which brought the new journal application, and you could see iPhone 15 turns on just about 4 or 5 seconds faster than iPhone XR. So not a massive change in that, but still, a lot of changes around the bezels and the dynamic island and the feel. The iPhone XR just feels clunkier at this point. Generally speaking, Face ID is not really any faster on the iPhone 15, although it definitely looks different with the dynamic island letting it spread out there. Over here on the iPhone XR, it essentially works the same. It would have been nice if they would improve the speed of it and maybe allowing you to bypass a lock screen, but we haven't seen that. Now, the thing about the iPhone 15 and the XR is that they both rock 60 Hertz displays, so when swiping through here, they're generally about the same in terms of performance going through the home screen. So Apple has remained consistent with the iPhone XR's updates, and over the years, the XR still performs incredibly well considering this phone came out way back in 2018. It's kind of shocking. Honestly, it surprises me how well this phone still performs. It's still super usable right now. Now, just to confirm before we get into the speed test, the app test actually, we're going to see that we are on 17.2 right here. And then over here, 17.2. They don't have it listed as the A15 Bionic. It's actually the A16 Bionic here on the iPhone 15. 6 gigabytes of RAM. Over here, A12 Bionic, 2.49 gigahertz. Almost a full gigahertz clock speed higher, and then this has only 3 gigabytes of RAM. So we'll see how that plays in to the RAM management later. Okay, so here we are at the app test. Everything closed out for both phones. Let's go ahead and go into Calendar. And you can see about the same. Now, always on the main apps, they're pretty much the same here. Pretty much for all iPhones. So Apple's base apps, the ones they have developed for their phones, usually are exactly the same performance. However, weather definitely takes longer due to that loading up some actual content in there. Let's go into App Store. And you can see the App Store, especially when you start loading up for the first time, when it's got to gather data, you'll see that the iPhone 15 can actually load it faster. It'll appear there, and then the XR can drag its feet a little bit to load the content. Although this wouldn't slow you down too much if you're just looking through the App Store, you will find sometimes it can get a little bit slow to launch this content now on the XR. That's just something I noticed right now. Let's go into Instagram. And Instagram is faster on the left. Let's go over here to the profile page. Click my post here. The iPhone XS Max also been a pretty surprisingly good phone right now. Set up out of there. And iPhone XR is still sliding around. Let's go into X or Twitter, whichever you want to call it. Elon would prefer you to call it X. Let's go into profile. And you'll see not a major difference, but slightly on the iPhone 15. Let's go into Amazon. And you'll see Amazon does launch first there on the left. So you can see when we start having to load up pictures and media, the iPhone 15 can launch quicker. So you'll see faster here once again on eBay. This should make up for a phone that feels quicker. But honestly, I really feel like the ProMotion is a thing that was pretty close. I think that might have been the XR actually. Honestly, what really feels like a massive difference is ProMotion. If I'm being totally honest with you, it's harder to see the speed changes until you go to ProMotion. Then you kind of feel like, man, this is so much smoother and faster. I mean, it is quicker, but you don't really feel it too much. Let's go into the trigger tool, and let's say I put them side by side. And let's go ahead and hit play on both. 3, 2, go. And see how they do here. Now, in the gaming department, yeah, the iPhone 15 faster there. In the gaming department, the real phone you're going to want is the iPhone 15 Pro or Pro Max if you're looking for top tier gaming. Although you can see the 15 leaps and bounds faster when playing even some casual games that can launch those things up quicker, as you've seen on the initial launch. Let's go into Temple Run 2. And I missed the tap a little bit on Subway Surfers, but in terms of the regular launch, it was still the 15. You'll see we can already be in and playing here by the time the iPhone XR is loading up. So yeah, it's a pretty big change here in CPU. If you have a XR and you're finally ready to buy an upgrade iPhone, this will probably be pretty similar for the iPhone 11, but maybe not quite as close because the A13 Bionic was a very fast chip as well. Let me know if you want to see the iPhone 11 on 17.2 versus the iPhone 15 or 15 Pro. That might be interesting to cover. You can see here on PUBG, we are way ahead here for the 15. We're already almost to the lobby, whereas we're just now getting started on 10R. So if I was to start a match here, you'll see that we can already get into the basically starting phase of the match while we're still getting to the lobby. So the iPhone XR is several steps behind the 15 in the gaming area as well. So yeah, if you're looking to really improve the performance beyond daily usage, I think it's time. The XR loads faster, and this is simply because the Geekbench app still hasn't been updated for 15s to support those, the optimization. It hasn't been optimized yet. And you'll see right here, that was a 15. And we'll go into camera, the 15 again. And then how about iMovie? An Apple application should be close, very close, but it was the 15. Now, even though the iPhone XR is a couple clicks behind, you can actually still get everything done on the phone. It's a few clicks behind, but it still works. Let's go into speed test. And I think the only person that would really see this is people who are putting them side by side. If you have a XR, you probably don't even feel like the phone is slow. To me, it's a little bit slow because I've tested against others, but it really feels a little bit behind when you compare it to a Pro model. However, in this initial app test, the 15 clearly was faster in most respects and in the games by a big margin. So basic apps, day-to-day functioning, XR is still plenty fine in 2023. You could probably make it another year easily if you're not doing anything more than, your basic everyday stuff and a game here and there. And if you have a little bit of patience, if you want some more blistering fast speeds, the 15 is probably a decent upgrade. Okay, guys, so let's go ahead and run back through the applications and see what we get. So you can see pretty much the same there. Not a major difference there. Camera pretty decent. 3D Mark. Let's go to Geekbench 6. And how about PUBG? And XR held that pretty well. Let's go into Temple Run 2. And we're right where we were on the 15. A full reload on the XR. So this 3 gigs of RAM. Let's go into Subway Surfers. A full reload on the XR. So the 3 gigs of RAM is showing its age. Let's go to Dead Trigger 2. Is it enough for an iPhone still? I don't really think so. If you want to be on the cutting edge of iPhone, let's go into Starbucks. It's enough for daily usage for sure. Just not enough for heavier use. Let's go into eBay. Held that pretty fine. But what's astonishing is how well the XR and other older iPhones have been performing on these latest 17 dot releases. Apple's been going to town on these. These old phones are doing decent, man. Like, look at this. We only had like a couple reloads on XR. That's pretty impressive. Considering 5 years old. That is seriously impressive. Yeah, so XR did very solid there. It had like a couple reloads, and that's about it. So, well, the 15, nothing. It's brand new. But nothing crazy bad on XR, just a couple of reloads. Okay, so the final Geekbench score is in for the iPhone 15. We're at nearly 7 minutes and the XR is not done. So that should just show you, and this has been done for quite a few minutes already. 2565 on the single core, so it doesn't quite catch the 15 Pro, but 6247 on the multi-core also doesn't catch the 15 Pro, which is over 7,000. Over here, you'll see 2255 on the multi, so 3 times slower, and twice as slow on the single core at 1252. I also realized during the speed test, I had Geekbench 5 on here on the app test, And so if you want to see, it really doesn't make a difference though. You'll see that the 15 when launching it is still slow, like it's still more optimized for the older phones still. So that wouldn't have changed the results at all. But you do see that our history shows that the 15 does get much higher scores pretty much all the time versus the iPhone XR, which is quite a bit behind. So let's go ahead and do 3D Mark. Now I have to do the wildlife test or the extreme, because if you go to wildlife here for the 15, it says your iPhone 15 is too powerful for this test. So we'll probably max out and not even get a score. So we're going to push a 10R a little harder than it's used to here. And we're going to hit start on this test, and we'll see what kind of frame rates we get and the improvements you'll get according to the 3D Mark Wildlife Extreme benchmark. I'll be back when it is done. So our final wildlife's in, and it's a 2963 on the overall score on the left, and then a 1042. So 2,000 points different. Now on the average frame rate, take a look at that, 17.7 versus 6.2. What that means is a much laggier experience on the iPhone XR, scoring only over 18% of devices, and over here better than 70. Now that's just simply because of age. This is just a product of what happens over time. The iPhone gets slower and more competition comes out, and it can't compete with the latest phones. And that's just what you're seeing right here. But let's see how it does with the connectivity, the internet speed, because I expect the 15 with all its upgrades and connectivity to be maybe even faster here as well in the Wi-Fi. So we're going to do a quick internet Wi-Fi test here. We're going to be on the same server, so we should have no major changes. And you'll see 516 down, 4, we're going on to 3s. So we started out strong, coming a little bit lower here. 375 down, yes, so about 379 down here. Now I'm guessing the upload is going to finish around 13 to 16. It could go around 20 though. So we're going to finish it around 20-ish, 22, 23. I was wrong. It's actually much higher today. Usually I don't get them type of upload speeds, but it is a Thursday. Let's go ahead and hit go, and we'll see with the same server, are we going to get the same download speed on the XR? And so far it started out higher on the 15, but will it drop as we go on? Or will we get a higher score? We got a higher download on the XR. That's really weird. I wouldn't expect that. If we did a 5G though, you know, it will blow away the XR, because the XR doesn't support 5G. But you'll see, yeah, we have about a 16 slower upload, but a faster download on XR. That was kind of weird, because we started out much higher on the iPhone 15. Well, the end of this test shows that the Wi-Fi speeds are not massively, they're not going to be massively improved. It just depends on the network here. And the last thing I want to do before we wrap it up is a quick camera test. So I got my little Christmas tree here. You know what? Getting in the holiday spirit. Let's go ahead and turn it on there before we do the camera test. Hold on. Camera got a little bumped. So we'll hit the camera there. And actually, we're going to close it out. We're going to close it out, and we're going to launch the cameras just to see how fast they can get to there. 3, 2, go. iPhone 15 faster. We'll do it again. 3, 2, go. Yeah, the 15 quicker. Shutter speed surprisingly not that different on either. So not a big difference there. But overall, at the end of the day, the iPhone 15 faster in most areas. You probably expected that, but I didn't expect it to be that much faster. It is quite the leap. So if you have a XR, go ahead and let me know your thoughts on it. I still think it's a usable phone for basic functionality, but it's getting on its way out now. And that's about it. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Nick here. Be sure to be well, and peace.